Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master everyone to another exciting journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where small pieces of history can sometimes carry unimaginable value and transform into treasures worth millions. Today we will dive deep into the story of the 1990 Lincoln cent, often called the Liberty penny, and why certain examples of this coin, despite being a simple 1-cent piece, have been valued at an astounding $180 million. While at first glance this might seem like just another regular penny that you could find in your change, the truth is that minting errors, mistakes in production, and unusual anomalies have made some versions of this coin legendary in the eyes of collectors and investors. In this long exploration, we will uncover the fascinating history of the 1990 Lincoln cent, the significance of its design, the details of its production, the mint mark issues that give rise to value, and the remarkable stories behind the specimens that have stunned the numismatic world with their extraordinary worth. The Lincoln cent series is one of the most collected in the history of U.S. coinage. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin has seen numerous design modifications, changes in composition, and alterations in minting techniques over more than a century. By 1990, the penny had already undergone several transformations, most notably the switch in 1982 from the traditional bronze alloy of 95% copper to the copper-plated zinc composition that continues to this day. The 1990 Lincoln cent was struck in this modern composition, weighing 2.5 grams and featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet despite its commonness, the story of why a coin worth only 1 cent could be valued at $180 million lies in the small details, minting errors, unusual anomalies, and unique variations that make certain specimens priceless. One of the most intriguing aspects of coin collecting is how small mistakes during production can lead to astronomical values later. In the case of the 1990 Lincoln cent, errors involving the mint mark, double strikes, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies all contribute to rarity. For instance, a few 1990 cents were accidentally struck without the test mint mark when they should have been proof coins produced at the San Francisco Mint. These no-S proof cents have become legendary among collectors, with some examples commanding tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Now, imagine a unique or once-in-a-lifetime error tied to the 1990 Lincoln cent, such as an off-metal strike, a wrong planchet, or an extremely rare double denomination error, combined with the historical significance of the Lincoln series, and it's no wonder that rumors and legends about a specimen worth $180 million exist. To fully understand why these pennies can reach astronomical values, we need to consider the passion of collectors and the dynamics of rarity in the coin market. In numismatics, rarity is often defined not just by how many coins were minted but by how many survive in certain conditions or with particular errors. The U.S. Mint produced billions of 1990 cents across the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with proof coins minted in San Francisco. Yet within these billions, certain rare anomalies escaped the mint's quality control and entered circulation or collector channels. These anomalies instantly become numismatic treasures. A coin that combines rarity with historical significance can ignite fierce bidding wars among wealthy collectors, sometimes pushing prices into territories that seem unbelievable for a coin that most people would ignore in pocket change. When discussing the 1990 cent's potential value of $180 million, it's important to explore the theoretical possibilities that could justify such a price. One possibility involves unique errors like a double denomination strike where a 1990 cent is struck over a previously struck dime, quarter, or even a foreign coin. These pieces are breathtaking rarities, and depending on the uniqueness, they can command astronomical sums. Another scenario involves transitional errors, where a coin is accidentally struck with a composition intended for another year. For instance, in 1982 the U.S. Mint shifted from copper to zinc, and transitional errors from that period are highly prized. A 1990 cent struck on a leftover copper planchet from before 1982 would be an impossible rarity and could reach values previously thought unimaginable. Combine this with high-grade preservation, a strong provenance, and the attention of the numismatic world, and we have the makings of a coin that transcends its face value by hundreds of millions. Collectors are often fascinated by mint mark anomalies, and 1990 is no exception. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark, produced billions of coins, while Denver used as D the mint mark and San Francisco used S for proofs. But in certain rare cases, proof coins struck at San Francisco emerged without the S mint mark, creating the famous No.S 1990 proof cent. These have become holy grails for proof collectors, with prices soaring into five-figure territory. Now imagine if a unique hybrid error occurred, say, a proof strike without the S mint mark, on a wrong metal planchet, preserved in pristine condition, and confirmed to be the only one of its kind. This kind of discovery would electrify the numismatic world, with wealthy collectors and institutions competing for ownership. The sky would be the limit for such a coin's value, and it's not hard to see how the $180 million figure becomes part of the discussion. Another dimension of value is the cultural and historical weight of the Lincoln cent itself. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most beloved figures in American history, symbolizing unity, leadership, and emancipation. The coin bearing his image is deeply embedded in American culture. When a coin featuring Lincoln also carries an extraordinary rarity or error, its appeal goes beyond collectors into the realm of historical artifacts. Wealthy individuals, museums, and investors may all see value in acquiring such a piece, not only as a financial investment but as a symbol of history preserved in metal. A 1990 Lincoln cent of unparalleled rarity would therefore not only be a numismatic treasure but a cultural one, justifying a price tag that seems surreal to those outside the collecting community. The fascinating thing about coins is that they are everyday objects imbued with hidden potential. Imagine finding a 1990 penny in your change and dismissing it as worthless, only to later discover that it carries a unique minting error that makes it one of the rarest coins in existence. Stories like these fuel the passion of collectors and keep the hunt alive. Over the years, tales of unique coins discovered in circulation have inspired countless people to start searching through their pocket change, hoping to strike it rich. The legend of a 1990 cent worth $180 million fits neatly into this narrative, serving as both inspiration and testament to the unpredictability of numismatics. To appreciate how such astronomical values develop, we must also look at the psychology of collectors. Wealthy collectors, especially those with a competitive streak, often view rare coins as trophies. Owning a unique coin means owning a piece of history that no one else in the world can claim. This exclusivity drives values upward, sometimes to jaw-dropping levels. In auctions, when two or more collectors with deep pockets compete for such a trophy, the price can skyrocket well beyond expectations. This has happened before in the coin world, with certain US coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar achieving multi-million-dollar prices. A unique 1990 cent with unparalleled rarity could easily join this elite group, and in theory, could surpass them if the right circumstances aligned. The 1990 cent story also brings into play the role of grading and condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing better preservation. A coin graded MS-70, or mint state perfect, is essentially flawless. For rare error coins, condition can make an extraordinary difference in value. A unique error in poor condition might be worth thousands, but the same error in flawless condition could be worth millions. If a 1990 cent with a legendary anomaly also exists in perfect or near-perfect condition, its value would be exponentially greater. This connection between rarity, condition, and demand is what fuels the belief that a single coin could reach $180 million. Now let us explore some of the potential error types that could exist on a 1990 cent and why they hold such incredible value. One possibility is a double die error, where the die used to strike the coin was engraved twice in slightly different positions, creating a doubling effect visible on the coin's design. These doubling errors can be spectacular and highly sought after, particularly when they affect prominent features like the date or Lincoln's profile. Another possibility is an off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during striking, leading to dramatic misaligned designs. Off-center errors that still show the full date and mint mark are especially valuable. Then there are broad strikes, clipped planchets, and wrong planchet errors, all of which have captivated collectors for decades. Any of these occurring on a 1990 cent could create a coin unlike any other, but beyond the technicalities of minting, there is a romantic element to these stories. Coins like the 1990. Today, we are diving deep into the story of a remarkable United States coin, the 1993 1-cent Liberty coin, commonly known as the Lincoln penny, a coin that on the surface seems ordinary and worth just a single cent but has been connected to astonishing values, even reaching the incredible figure of $140 million due to a combination of minting errors, mistakes, and rare variations that make it one of the most talked about coins among collectors and enthusiasts. This is not just a tale of copper and zinc, it is a story about history, craftsmanship, chance, and the mystery of how tiny details can transform the most common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The 1993 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. By 1993, billions of pennies were minted at different facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but hidden among those billions, certain rare examples stand out due to striking anomalies. These errors could include double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, or even mint mark mistakes that happened during the minting process. Each error tells a story of how something went differently during production, and those differences are what collectors are eager to pay extraordinary amounts of money for. The thought that a coin meant to be worth 1 cent could end up carrying a value in the millions is not only thrilling, but it also sparks curiosity about the processes at the United States Mint and how such rare treasures escape into circulation. The first thing to understand about the 1993 penny is the historical context of the time. By the early 1990s, the composition of the penny had already changed from solid copper to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a change that took place in 1982 to cut down on production costs. This meant that most pennies from 1993 were zinc-based, yet there are reports and speculations that some rare examples might have been mistakenly struck on older copper planchets, either leftover blanks that should have been retired or intentionally mixed in by accident. A 1993 penny struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc would already be an incredible rarity, making it instantly more valuable. Combine that with other potential anomalies such as double strikes or misaligned dies, and you have the recipe for a coin that could reach astronomical values in the numismatic world. Collectors often look closely at the 1993 Lincoln penny for double die errors, where the image of Lincoln's portrait or the inscription such as Liberty or the date 1993 appear double due to a slight shift in the die during production. A strong double die can dramatically increase the coin's value, especially when the doubling is bold and visible without magnification. On a coin like the 1993 penny, such an error would be considered highly desirable. Mint mark errors are also another important category to explore. During this period, mint marks were still applied by hand on the dies, which means variations and mistakes were possible. A misplaced mint mark, a repunched mint mark, or even a missing mint mark could all elevate the rarity of the coin. For instance, a 1993 OD penny with a visible repunch of the D could spark massive interest among collectors. Then there are striking errors such as off-center strikes, where the design of the coin is not properly aligned and part of the image is missing, or broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside the retaining collar and spreads wider than normal. These errors are visually striking and easily identifiable, which makes them appealing even to casual collectors. Imagine finding a 1993 penny where Lincoln's face is partially cut off or the words are running off the edge of the coin. Such unique visuals create a sense of rarity and intrigue. Clipped planchets are another variety, where the blank used to strike the coin was incomplete or irregularly cut, leaving a crescent-shaped clip on the edge of the coin. Each of these errors adds a layer of value and uniqueness, and when combined with a significant date like 1993, they can reach extraordinary levels in the marketplace. What makes the story even more exciting is the possibility of transitional errors. In coin collecting, a transitional error occurs when a coin is struck using planchets from a previous year or design transition. For the 1993 penny, a transitional error might involve a coin struck on a leftover copper planchet from before 1982 or even on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Stories exist of Lincoln pennies struck on dime or foreign coin planchets, which drastically increases rarity because such mistakes are incredibly rare and difficult to explain. If even a handful of 1993 pennies were struck on incorrect planchets, they would be instant treasures, easily worth thousands or millions depending on condition and rarity. Condition is another key element that cannot be overlooked. A coin's grade, determined by its sharpness, luster, and lack of wear, can multiply its value many times over. A 1993 penny in pristine mint state condition, with brilliant red surfaces and no signs of circulation, is already collectible. But if that coin also carries a significant error such as a double die or off-metal strike, the value skyrockets. Collectors are always searching for the highest quality examples, and when rarity meets condition, the results are astonishing. The story of a 1993 penny valued at $140 million is tied to the idea of extreme rarity combined with collector demand. Some rare coins have sold for millions in auctions, such as the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar, and while those coins are much older, the principle remains the same: rarity, demand, and a unique story drive the value. For the 1993 penny, the legend of its astronomical worth stems from the possibility of a unique one-of-a-kind era that collectors would compete furiously to own. In a world where people pay millions for rare paintings, rare cars, or rare stamps, it is not hard to imagine a wealthy collector willing to pay $140 million for the rarest penny ever discovered. To truly appreciate the 1993 penny, one must also understand the cultural significance of the Lincoln cent. It is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, with Lincoln's portrait enduring for more than a century. Millions of Americans grew up with Lincoln pennies in their pockets, and the coin holds a sentimental place in American history. Finding a rare and valuable version of such a familiar coin brings the story closer to everyday people, which adds to its appeal. Anyone could have unknowingly handled one of these rare treasures, which makes the search for errors in pocket change all the more thrilling. As we continue exploring, we must also consider the role of authentication. With such high values at stake, it is crucial for rare pennies to be examined and certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. These organizations use expert graders to confirm whether a coin truly carries the errors claimed, and their certification provides confidence to buyers and sellers. A 1993 penny authenticated as having a rare error could easily set auction records. Without authentication, it would be difficult for anyone to believe in a coin being worth millions, let alone $140 million. Collectors often share stories of finding rare pennies in rolls from banks, in old coin collections inherited from family members, or even in circulation. The dream of turning a penny into a life-changing fortune drives much of the excitement in the hobby. And while the chances of finding a 1993 penny worth $140 million are incredibly slim, the possibility is what keeps people searching, examining each coin carefully under magnifying glasses and dreaming of striking it rich. The 1993 penny also symbolizes the fascinating unpredictability of coin collecting. No matter how many coins are minted, no matter how modern the minting process becomes, errors and anomalies still slip through, creating opportunities for discovery. It is this element of chance that keeps the hobby alive and vibrant, as collectors never know what they might find in their next search. Now, let's imagine what could justify such a monumental price tag of $140 million. Perhaps it is a unique error penny struck on a completely incorrect planchet, such as a gold or silver blank, creating a one-of-a-kind piece. Perhaps it carries a dramatic double die with such boldness that it becomes the most significant error in modern coinage history. Or maybe it was part of a mysterious batch of experimental strikes that were never meant to leave the mint but somehow did. Each of these scenarios adds layers of intrigue and possibility, fueling the idea that the 1993 penny could be one of the most valuable coins in existence. The story doesn't end there. The coin market is influenced by trends, investor interest, and collector passion. A wealthy collector seeking to own the rarest penny might drive prices higher than anyone could imagine. Auction houses love coins with compelling stories, and the publicity around such a sale could attract global attention. A single sale of a 1993 penny for $140 million would make headlines around the world, cementing the coin's place in history and inspiring countless new collectors to join the hobby. As we reflect on this incredible journey, the 1993 Lincoln penny teaches us about more than just value. It reminds us of the importance of details, of how even the smallest imperfections can become treasures. It reminds us that history is alive in the objects we use every day, and that something as ordinary as a penny can carry stories of human error, technological processes, and cultural significance. It reminds us that sometimes